Hello and welcome to the 25th episode of When I Was Your Age. I'm your host, Roland Parker, coming from a refreshing dry January, and as always, it is a joy, pleasure, and a treat to have you here. Today's guest is the prettiest one I've had so far, and it's my wife, Tabitha Parker. I'm really excited to kind of get an understanding of what she does with pressing floral bouquets. Obviously, I'm seeing it day in and day out, but I think it's a great story, and it'll be a good one for you guys to hear. For housekeeping, make sure that you follow the Instagram at WIWYA pod. Thank you guys so much for the support. We are currently at 1,129 followers. If you are listening for the first time, consider giving us a follow, and you can do that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. You can watch episodes on YouTube as well. You can find links to all of these places in the link tree in the Instagram bio. And that's going to conclude our housekeeping. With that, we'll go ahead and bring Tabby into the stream. Tabby, how's it going? What's up with you?
Well, nothing much. Just living life.
How's your day?
It was fine. I don't really remember it. I feel like that's how most of the days go. It's like you get to the end of the night and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I even do today?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good.
Lose all track. Can't
Lose
account
all
for
track.
anything.
It's very rainy, as you know. It's very I feel like it's rainy everywhere.
It's rainy where you are?
Yeah, is it rainy where you are?
Mm-hmm. That's so funny. So yeah, I was a little interested to see what it was going to be like for us to be on the same Wi-Fi doing this. It seems like it's going okay so far.
Yeah, I think the video part might be a little laggy, but the audio sounds fine.
Okay. Well, that's the most important thing.
That is true.
If you guys aren't already, make sure that you follow Tabby on Instagram. And you can do that in two places, on her personal page and her business page. And we'll have the links to those in the description of the episode as well. Well, let's go ahead and get into some get to know you questions. Where are you from and where do you currently live?
Okay, I'm from Tennessee, so I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, but we live in Birmingham, Alabama now. Roland, obviously, we got married in Knoxville, but we lived in Maryville for a few years. We just recently moved to Birmingham so we could be closer to Roland's parents. They've been such a big help with the girls, so we love being close to them. And yeah, I'm liking Birmingham so far. It's definitely different. I don't know I don't know how to get places. I know how to get Target, TJ Maxx, the grocery store, and the mall. And that's about it. I have to use GPS everywhere I go.
I feel like you're cutting yourself short. You know that there's a handful of coffee shops that you know.
Okay, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Well, excellent. We'll have to meet up sometime. What do you do?
Okay, this is always a hard question for me to answer, and I don't know if it's like imposter syndrome or what, but I am a stay-at-home mom, but I also run I would say, pretty successful floral preserving business. So I'm on Etsy, or I do locals. Gray is screaming back here. So sorry if you can hear that on the audio, but yeah, I own a floral preservation company. I do pressed bouquets. I can't do resin. That's not in my wheelhouse, but I can do shadow boxes. I can preserve it any way that you would like. If you've had your bouquet for, years sitting in your closet, or, sitting on your counter or on your bookshelf, like I can work with that and make you a shadow box. But primarily I do pressed. Pressed is my favorite when it's fresh. I love doing it. So yeah, that's what I do.
Excellent. Love that. And we'll dive a little more deeply into that here in a bit. How old are you?
27, right? Yeah, I just turned 27 on the 20th.
It's okay. This is like the 7th or 8th episode, like in a row, where when I ask that question, so whoever I'm posing it to is like, I think it's, just seems
I wonder if it's because, like COVID, it kind of robbed us of a few years of our life, and we were just in it for a few years. So I'm wondering if like we just will always think that we're like 23.
Mm.
you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like having kids young too,
Yeah.
really,
I
really
never
got
know
me
what
there.
day it is.
Mhm. Can yeah, I can barely keep up. Um, but yeah, that's so funny that that is, a common thread among everybody that we ask around. What piece of media are you currently enjoying? So is that book, podcast, music, TV? What kinda sticks out to you, right now?
Oh gosh, well, I'm in my reading era. I'm on my 5th book of the year, okay?
Wow.
Listen, I used to not read. I didn't read. I read like a little bit in high school, but like maybe 3 books, like nothing crazy.
Mhm.
But last year it was my goal to start reading again. It's just helpful to be like off your phone because I'm just like mindlessly scrolling. And so it was helpful to pick up something other than my phone and having a book to read. So last year my goal was 12 books. Um, and I read 15. This year my goal is 15. And we'll see how many I hit. But yeah, I'm really enjoying a lot of books right now. I'm reading All Your Perfects, I think. I like to do like a little bit of thriller, a little bit of romance. I like to have a break from the romance, so I'll do like a thriller book or something in between.
Mhm.
Um, I like a psychological thriller. Now it's hard because I have to read before bed, and so
Yeah.
sometimes it'll give me nightmares.
It's
But
tough when, like, that's the only time that you've got to consume the little, like,
yes,
spooky,
yeah,
intense kinda stuff.
for sure.
Um, yeah, there was a period of time when a lot of, a lot of the shows that I would watch that you weren't interested in, I was watching them at, like, 3 or 4 AM when one of our children was awake. So I'd, like, go hang out with them, watch, like, whatever it was, but then I would be, like, kinda wired and amped up because it was just
Oh yeah.
intense, but yeah, so this last one didn't get you that bad?
Oh, I've had a few nightmares because of it, or just
Mm,
like putting myself in the scenario in my dreams. Yeah, and that's not very fun. 2 nights ago, it was that. Yeah, it was behind closed doors for anyone that is a reading person. Spooky.
nice.
But yeah.
Um, what is something that you'd consider a luxurious necessity?
Oh, interesting. My dishwasher? Does that count?
Sure,
A
it could be.
luxury because I guess like I don't know. I feel like that's it. Maybe that answer wasn't good.
The example that I always like give to people for like what I would say is a nice cup of coffee. Is it kind of like blurs the line
Mm.
between something that you need but you don't really need. It's like part of your routine. I think the rhythm part of it is a big thing when I'm asking that question. That's like what comes to mind for me. But I've seen people give all sorts of answers. So I don't think that the dishwasher is a bad one.
Okay, another one I would give is my like Stanley cup or anything that holds my water.
Hmm.
Like here we it's right here. We love her. I am getting a brewmate in the mail, allegedly. Somebody got me that for a gift. Hmm.
Mm, that's nice.
So I'll test him out. But yeah, I
Cool.
feel like my Stanley cup, my huge thing of water, it does force me to drink more water, but it's a nice experience.
Hmm.
When you wake up at 2 a.m. and you're so thirsty and you're like you feel like a little gerbil and
Are
you
you waking
need
up at 2
water.
a.m. to drink a lot of water?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I feel when you were pregnant,
When I was
you
pregnant,
most
definitely
definitely.
so thirsty.
Yeah. Um, oof. Yeah, that was the most intense thirst I've ever seen. Um,
Gray's in her room saying, "Monster truck, monster
Monster
truck."
truck, monster truck. That's funny. Well, that kind of leads into this next question is, do you have any bits that you're doing? Any running jokes, any callback kind of humor in that way? And what bits are you doing?
Well, currently I'm doing "Da moon? Hi, moon." Because if you've seen my TikTok or my reel, Gray, we were walking to my friend's house the other night, it's her neighbor, and Gray saw the moon from so far away. I have no idea. One, I'm shocked I caught it on camera. That was not my goal. I was just trying to catch her walking to our neighbor's house.
Mhm.
And she was like, look, the moon,
Don't.
look. And so that's what I've been.
It's
I say
funny.
that to her all the time, but I also say look to her all the time. So I'm sure that's where she gets it from. But yeah, that's what I've been saying and
Mhm.
recalling.
Yeah, that it's funny. So when I first saw the video, I knew that it would kinda do well on TikTok because it just seemed like it had the cadence of a Vine. I was like, "Oh, this reminds me so much of, like, something that would make
Mhm.
me laugh
Yeah.
on Vine or something like that." But I mean, it has how many likes at this point?
I would like to say 2.1 million,
That's
and
that's so crazy.
I think 8 million views just
Wow.
on TikTok. So,
That's
yeah,
wild.
follow me on TikTok
It's yeah, but and everywhere else.
and everywhere else.
Gosh, yeah, it's very silly the amount of times that she's gone viral just for like having her own personality
She's so funny.
and
Yeah.
like yeah, just shining through with the humor that she's got.
I
It's
hope that other
hilarious.
people think that she's funny and it's not just us being like, "Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, our kid's so funny."
Well, I can
But
think
no.
of at least 2 million that think she's a little bit funny. Um, all right, the next question. Uh, Given the opportunity to replace the national anthem with any song on your playlist, what song would that be? And tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, listen, I've been thinking of the answer to this question since you
Okay,
started this podcast. And the only song I can think of, okay, hear me out,
I'm waiting.
is The Year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers.
All right. Okay, tell me about that.
Oh gosh. I feel like we all grew up singing that. It was a big like middle school dance song. And yeah, I enjoy the song. That's why I picked it. I'm really bad at like song titles, so I've been stressing about picking the right one.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's been so many good ones on the podcast, so I was running out of options.
Yeah.
And I came across this one, and I was like, "Oh,
The perfect
that's
fit.
it,
Excellent.
perfect fit."
Well, speaking of all the other answers on the podcast, if you want to listen to every guest's answer, including Tabby's, you can follow the National Anthem playlist on Spotify, and that is available in the link tree in the Instagram bio. Go give it a listen there. And then last get to know you question is how do we know each other?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. I feel like a lot of people don't know this probably. We went to school together. We met on the first day of college, and I fell in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're so charming. It was really, it's hard not to fall in love with
Aw shucks.
you.
I also fell in love with you. So that's good to know. Um, but yeah, we met in college and then got married to each other in that order. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I feel like I got to know you in a better way through. So thanks for going through those with me. Um, let's dive in now to what we call kind of the meat and potatoes of the pod. Is your story, what you do, how you got into it? Um, Tell me, how did you get started in this business and preserving flowers in the multiple ways that you do it?
Yeah, sure. So we got married in 2019. Actually, fun fact about our wedding was our wedding venue flooded 2 weeks before our wedding
Mm,
with 3 feet of water inside the building. Like you couldn't even open the doors. It was during off season. So not just for the venue, but there's a thing called wedding season. So off season, we got married in March. So we got married at the beginning of March. Not a lot of venues in Tennessee have heating and air during those months. So a lot of the wedding venues couldn't even accommodate us after the flood because they didn't have any heat. And like, I mean, it was Tennessee. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. So we couldn't just bank on it being warm and good. It could have snowed. I think
Mhm.
the big snow of like 93, I don't want to get that wrong, but I think it was like the snowpocalypse of 93 was in March. And so
Yeah.
everyone was freaking out. So nobody knew. So there was one venue that was able to accommodate the number of guests that we had. And like long story short, we ended up at this venue in Lenore City. It was beautiful. But I had always wanted to get my bouquet pressed. That was like my big dream, but we were poor. We were in college. And at the time, no one was really doing bouquet preservations locally. It was just people in Utah or Colorado, and you would have to ship your bouquet, and it would be hundreds of dollars to overnight your bouquet. And that was on top of the preservation price,
Mhm.
which was like thousands. I'm talking like 2,000, 3,000.
Mm.
And that was for like
Whoa.
a small frame. So I knew that I couldn't do that, but I was so stressed with, the wedding planning. I didn't really think anything of it. Well, someone offered to preserve it for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so nice. But they hadn't really done it before. And so, long story short, the bouquet ended up getting ruined. So I was so sad. But fast forward to our 1 year anniversary, Roland, he was my husband. He was so kind and he offered to get me a replica of my bouquet. And he said, you should try to press this and preserve it. And so basically, that's what I did. I took the flowers, I researched a ton, I got tons of books, and yeah, I pressed them and preserved them that way. And they're not hanging in our home, but they were hanging in our last home. And yeah, that's how I got started. But I love it. I'm very grateful that I am able to do this. I'm grateful that I'm able to watch the girls at home, keep them home with me, but then to do this, and I'm very like fulfilled from this.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, I love kind of um the serendipity of like it didn't work out with the initial pressing and that, but that helped to push you to do this business that's such a big part of your life now. Because there's just that initial disappointment, but you never
Mhm.
would have known what you would have missed out on, if it had just gotten done the first time. So that's such a cool thing, and I love that part of the story. Um, so tell me, maybe like start to finish, what does the process kind of look like? And you can go as specific or as general as you like, but take me through the journey of a bouquet from wedding day to getting back to someone's house in a frame.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about kind of a local process. So this is I'll talk about local and then I'll talk about shipping. So with local orders, basically I just need the flowers within a few days of your wedding. So you get married, woohoo. I just need them within a few days. So let's say you get married on Saturday. I would ideally like to have the flowers by Monday. So either the bride will come and drop them by with her husband, or a family member, maybe a mom, a bridesmaid will come and drop the flowers off. And once I have them, I start pressing them. So I do it a very unique way. And I have researched and done a bunch of different ways of doing it. But this is um, the most efficient, and also I feel like the most effective for like where I am in my business and like how much time I can devote to it.
Mhm.
But I press the flowers in a microwave. So basically, I know. It keeps the color. It just helps like preserve them, and it's like I wouldn't say easy because it's definitely not easy, but
Right.
it's less time consuming than books because books are like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Like take so much longer. So when I found the microwave trick, it was just the best for me. So it's parchment paper, flowers, press them. And yeah, so once the flowers are dry and pressed, I let them sit and get all of that moisture out for a few weeks. Depending on how many orders I have ahead of you, I can get them done a little bit sooner, but normally it takes around eight-ish weeks to get it done. During off season, it could be around like 4 to 6 weeks, but it just depends. So once the flowers are dry and they're ready to be arranged, I have 16 by 20, 11 by 14, and 8 by 10 mapped out on my work table, and I will start arranging depending on the size.
Okay.
So I arrange the flowers, and then once they're arranged in the way that I want them laid out, I start gluing them, and I glue the flowers to themselves. I don't glue it to the frame,
Okay.
just in case something happens to the frame in shipping. Because if something happens to the frame in shipping and the flowers are glued to the frame, you're kind of screwed. So I do that. I glue all the flowers to themselves so that just in case something happens in shipping, the frame breaks, the plexiglass breaks, I can ship you a new frame.
Yeah.
And you can just put the flowers in the new frame.
Got it. So it's a kind of preserving that sense of the work that you've done, and keeping it mobile and safe from like
Yes.
damage in transit, whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
I dig that.
Yeah. So that's a local process. Obviously with local, I'm not shipping, they're going to come pick it up. But once I have them arranged, I put them in the frame, and then I package them up all nice, put a little bow, put my business card on top, and then they come pick them up. So it's around 8 to 10 weeks. That's my turnaround time is 8 weeks right now. So that is how it goes. And then with shipping's a little bit different, only because they're obviously shipping me the flowers. So again, I need them within a few days of the wedding. So hopefully they're shipping them by Monday. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they ship them on Thursday after. I need the flowers as fresh as possible. It's not necessarily about them wilting. It's about the loss of color. And if they're wet in a bouquet, they're going to start mildewing, which is what you
because
do
they're
not
coming
want.
in like a box
They're coming in a box.
Most people aren't
and
sending them in a refrigerated container.
No, sometimes they do, and that's really nice. But most of the time, they're sending them in a box. They're
you
sending them in
mean with like ice packs?
Cooler.
Yeah. Okay.
Cooler
Cool.
box.
Oh, like the foam ones that if you
Yeah. Sometimes people will send them in cooler boxes, but most of the time they're just sending them in a box with some wet paper towels around it, and that's great for a day or two. But then when it's been sitting in the box for 5-6 days, things get a little rough. I can still work with them, but they don't turn out as well as you want them to do. And that is, not the product that I want to create. Like, I want to create the most pristine, like I want it to look just like your bouquet. So it's always hard when you see a mildewed bouquet that arrives in the box.
Yeah, so I imagine that's just like a lot of pressure because it's not something that you're controlling about the situation.
Yes.
So tell me about some of the stresses that come with that. How do you manage if somebody's not following the instructions or stuff like that?
I feel like you know the answer better than anyone. But it really depends on the client that I'm working with. Sometimes, and I think I would be the same way. So this is like no hard feelings to anyone. I feel like I want it to look just as much like your bouquet as you do, but there is a factor of Mother Nature coming into play. Like, I can only do so much. Like, sometimes white and light pink flowers just don't do the best. And a lot of wedding bouquets have light pink roses and they lose their color. And I don't know I don't know why. They'll have like a tint of pink, but they're not going to
Yeah.
be as bright as they were when I got them. And so I think it's an expectation thing. I am really hard on myself, and so when someone is unhappy with a product, I lose it. Like I get really upset. I try my best to like be calm in the moment if I'm getting a message or somebody that's unhappy, and I try my best to accommodate them like up to a certain point. Um, but I mean, it's really hard. Somebody's paying for this product. I'm working very hard to create this product, and I want them to absolutely love it. And if they
Mhm.
don't, I'm going to try to do everything in my power to make it right. There's some things that I cannot fix though, like light pink roses and white
'Cause that yeah.
printing, you know?
Yeah, it's always tough, like, seeing just, like, when people are messaging with you saying, like, just that they're not happy with how it turned out because the color looks way different,
Yeah.
even though you've explained at several points in the process, "Hey, like, because you have these flowers, it's very likely that it's not gonna look exactly the same. It's
Yes.
still gonna be, your flowers from your day, so, like, let's celebrate that, but, yeah, it's hard, and, I think because there's so much emotion in it, a
Mhm.
lot of people aren't willing to it's
Yeah.
they get worked up about it, and it's hard to bring them back down.
I also pride myself on a fast response time. That's one thing I will not budge on. I mean, I was like reading and responding to messages an hour after I delivered Lola. So
Mhm.
I shouldn't have done that. Nobody do that. But I do pride myself on really fast response time. So when someone's unhappy, I do need to take a breath and just, you know, try to figure out why they're upset. But I also like, I need to be better at that aspect of like giving myself a few minutes instead of,
Yeah.
responding immediately. Please, no one, do not respond when you've
Don't be
just given
don't
birth.
be mean to me, please. Yeah, no, yeah, I imagine that's, I really it's a challenging thing to balance when you're putting so much of, your effort and yourself into the work.
Yeah.
Um, how does it feel different from when you first started out? Because, I've gotten to see it kinda evolve and change, but how does it feel different from, the first time that you did sales on Etsy or even, before that?
Well, so that's a big part of my story as well. So we got married in 2019. You did the replica of my bouquet for me in 2020. And at that point, I was working a corporate job. I was doing social media and marketing for a company in Knoxville. I won't name names, but I was very unhappy there. And it's not that I was looking for a way out because I didn't, obviously, when I got the replica of the bouquet, I didn't know that this would be I didn't know that this would lead to something. All that happened was I posted it on Facebook, and everyone was like, wait, you should do that on the side. So I started doing it on the side. And I think my style has come so far.
Okay.
Um, yeah, hang on.
Ye
Can I go get the frame?
Oh, sure, yeah, I'll
Okay, let me go get the OG.
it's a so she's gonna pull it up on the screen. So if you're looking, if you're watching this episode, then you should be able to see it. Maybe we'll share it in the social post for the episode. So this is the first one that you did.
Yes. I don't know if you can see it. Okay,
Okay,
this
so
is
give
the
me an
very first
example that
one.
uh-huh.
This is the
And
very
then give
first one
me
that I
an
did.
example give me an example of how your work is different from that of what you just showed me.
I have learned to work with space better. So the space in the frame, I've learned how to work with the flowers better. I've learned how to lay out in a more effective, more not more beautiful, because I still think that this piece that I like my first piece is beautiful.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just the way that I have done things, my like creativity has evolved.
Okay.
And I think that's shown in my work too. Like, I think you could look at this and then look at my work that I have done now, and you can see a big difference. They're both beautiful, but I'm really enjoying the way that I'm doing it now.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I first posted this on Facebook, I didn't really think that it was going to become a job. Like I said, I was still working corporate and wasn't loving it. And yeah, I was just doing it on the side a little bit. It was enough income at that point where I probably could have left my corporate job, but we got pregnant shortly after and with Gray. And I think we had just kind of talked about it. Like, I was pretty unhappy in that like corporate environment, and this was doing pretty well. And I knew that I could leave. So I went on maternity leave and never came back. So
Mhm.
I think I was like on maternity leave for 6 weeks or something, and I quit on the 5th week. So
Yeah.
yeah, it has genuinely evolved in a good way. And I'm happy to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, I love that, and when I think back on it too, I think it was a little bit scarier, leaving that job, not from like an well, so we have, insurance and stuff through my work, so we were covered there and everything was okay, but it still felt very much like a leap, like, I think, that you're playing it down a little bit. There was like a, "Ooh, alright, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna quit, and we're gonna do this and see where it goes." And it's so cool to see how it's changed and grown, and
Hmm.
you've gotten better, and you've mentioned the creative process um, coming to you a little easier and trying new techniques and stuff. um, Tell me about your creative process and like getting in the right headspace for your work. So maybe not like the minutia of like the actual things that you're doing, but what do you do to like help you get in a good mood to work or something like that?
Well, I put on the toast. So if you are a toaster, but I put on the toast every day when I start working. So I start working in the afternoon once the girls are napping, and I put on the toast. I save it until, like, I don't listen to it at the gym. I save it until I start working. So sometimes if it happens this way, I get 2 episodes out of it. It's
Mm,
joyous. But yeah, I put on a podcast, or I'll listen to an audiobook of a memoir. So I just listened to Happy People Are Annoying by Josh Beck. Really good book. Really good audiobook. And yeah, I sometimes I will put on some Taylor Swift, some Fearless, Taylor's version,
ah,
and that'll get me really pumped up. But after the toast, I need to listen to the toast and get my pop culture, and then I'll listen to Fearless.
nice. Okay.
If it's the fall, I'll listen to Red, Taylor's version. But
Okay.
I'm in a Fearless version. I'm in a Fearless Taylor's version right now.
Gotcha. And um, is Taylor Swift, kind of specifically the Fearless album, is that like that is that your number one when it comes to her body of work?
Mm, probably,
Yeah.
probably. I have no idea why, but I love that album. I mean, it's a banger. It's so good.
Mhm.
I love Taylor Swift. I've met her once, and it was a great experience. Unfortunately, I was too young and too starstruck to really
Mm. You're
to
you're
like
just
take it
like
in. I
you're
So
just
what
looking
happened
like
was,
miles up. You're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so tall."
no, literally, she was so tall, and that she was wearing flats. She was wearing
Mhm.
flats. She was
Well, we're
so
not tall
tall.
people.
I know, but still, I was like, first of all, it was my idol at the time, and
Mhm.
she's in front of me, and I just didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
So that album will always have a special place in my heart because that is when she, so sorry, that is when she came to Knoxville, was when she was doing the Fearless tour with
Mm.
Rascal Flatts.
Oh, nice.
Yes, yeah.
Love it. So what's an area of your business you feel like you could improve, or an area that there's still room to grow?
My turnaround time. I would really love to improve on my turnaround time. I would love to get it down to 4 to 6 weeks flat, like, no matter what, busy season or not. And I think I will get to a place like that. I think it will be when the girls are older
Mhm.
because, I mean, I take care of the girls all day. You help too. It's just a lot. I mean, if you have littles and you run a business, like, I mean, you're constantly on, you're constantly doing stuff, especially during busy season. It's hard because I'm getting 15, 16, 17 bouquets a week,
Mhm.
um, sometimes a day, and I cannot physically do them all in one day and take care of the girls.
Yeah.
So I think my turnaround time is something I would really like to get down in the new year, and I'm working on it. Yeah, it's just, it always bugs me when, I really want to get you a product, but there's so many in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's tough.
yeah,
It's a
so
it's funny too, 'cause I think a lot of people are familiar with the concept of a garage fridge that's kinda dedicated to a lot of, like, canned drinks and stuff like that. To maybe, putting your beers or your stocking up on your Cokes or whatever. But our garage fridge, is the holding station for, um, for flowers coming in. So
yes,
that's
that's
a
true.
that's a unique thing. Um,
It's
sometimes
a
we
little
get
crumbly in there.
it is a little crumbly in there. We probably need to clean it. Somebody it needs a little elf to sweep up the petals every now and again.
It does.
Um, what what do you look to for inspiration? Because I imagine that a lot of this you mentioned evolving in your ability to do certain things, and your creativity has come out in different ways. But even still, you're probably trying to innovate somehow. So where do you look to for inspiration when you're working with these bouquets?
Um, that's a good question. I In the actual arrangement for inspiration, I'm looking at the inspiration of their bouquet. So, like, the bouquet when I got it, I'm looking at that inspiration.
So like the
Now,
pictures like that
the
they're sending you?
pictures, the
Okay.
pictures that they're sending me, the picture that I take of it when it comes in. But as for, like, I guess, like, aspirational inspiration, I really like Pressed Floral Co. So they're a big floral preservation company. And their style is a little different than mine, but I think their style is great. And so I look for inspo through them a lot of the time.
Okay.
And I like their social media campaigns are great. Yeah, I
Just
yeah, that's
different, like, creators, like, looking
mhm,
at the style that they're doing
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
yeah.
Mm, that's good. That's something that I think about a lot is just being in different spaces that, a lot of different social media accounts are, like, gonna be popping up for you. So, um, and another reason I think of it that's funny is that you got kinda locked out of your Facebook account. So in responding to a lot of, like, local accounts
Oh,
for a
it's
bit, and
awful.
local orders, you had to log in on Messenger on my phone. And then you also signed me up for a bunch of, like, Alabama brides, like, groups
I
on
forgot
Facebook.
about
So sometimes I see, like, somebody post that's like
that.
ISO, um, photographer for West Alabama,
Yes.
yada, 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 and I'm
I
like,
forgot that I did that.
"That's
I'm
a"
so
yeah, I
sorry.
haven't left any of the groups, not
I'm
and I like,
surprised
I
that they
don't
let you in, honestly.
that's a they the screening process must not have been very, very
That's true.
strict.
They're like, "Oh,
Um,
he's a boy, he's so involved in his wedding."
no, I've been married. And I, I wasn't super duper involved. when it actually happened either.
You were not. You and your mom and I were really
Y'all were
thick as
cooking.
thieves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. What what's in the future for you? You touched on a little bit that you want to see how it grows, but what are some things that you'd like to achieve with this?
Oh gosh. I would love in the future to have an employee. I think that
What am I?
that oh, you're not an employee.
Oh, okay.
You mean, yeah, I don't know. I would love to have an employee. I would love to like show someone how I do it and almost like an internship kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I think that that would be really cool. Someone who's crafty or, just loves flowers. Yeah, I would love to kind of amp up social media a lot. That's something I know that like I do a lot of social media for my personal page, but I really lack on my pressed petals page. And I don't know why I get more anxious
Mm,
posting my business than I do like posting my daily life. And I don't really know why, but that's
interesting.
something I really like need to get
Do you
better
think just
at.
like a kind of like financial pressure of like, okay, this isn't like just for fun, like it's kind of tied to
I think
that
so.
or
I think that has a big
okay.
part of it.
Mm,
Yeah, a financial
interesting.
pressure or just um I don't I don't know because I'm very like I love what I create. I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to send it if I don't love it. And so I should be super comfortable posting about it, but sometimes it just gets a little awkward. And I'm just like, "Oh, maybe people don't
Mhm.
want to see these flowers, but in reality they do." And I need to get over that. But yeah, like really ramping up my social media and like doing campaigns, like shooting a bunch of my work. That's something I haven't done yet. Like doing a bunch of spec pieces and having a photographer come in and shoot them, I think would be a big help. That is one of the hardest parts of my job is getting pictures of the product because it's a frame.
Ooh,
So it makes it hard to take a picture because it's a glass frame. So when you're taking the picture, you have to get the angle just right so that you don't get a
avoid
light
the
in the
glare.
picture or your phone in the picture or yourself in the picture because I've definitely done that before.
Is
And it's
that
really
like the
awkward.
reflection and the glare and everything?
Yes,
Yeah, I've
it's like
definitely like
when you're on like Facebook Marketplace and people are selling mirrors. If you ever want a little giggle and you
yeah.
you go to Facebook Marketplace and
M
you search mirrors, people
mirrors near
it's
me
so funny.
in a
Mirrors near
15-mile
me.
radius.
Yes.
That
Anyways.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've definitely come around the corner, like, on the stairs or something, and you're like, "Hold on," and like, because you're, like, trying to find, like, the
I'm trying
right
to get the lighting just right.
yeah, and it depends on, like, when in the afternoon you're doing it too, so that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. I
Um
also really love, like, vibrancy, so I like, when it's a gloomy day, it's not a good day to take a picture
mhm.
of, one, anything, but, like, I really want the flowers to look how they do in the frame, so lighting is very important to
Do
what I
you
do, but it can't be too bright because then you're gonna get the lights in all of the picture. It's it's unique.
yeah, that's fun. Well, whenever you have an opening for an unpaid intern, I have an application for you ready to go, so, yeah, I'll put in my resume and we can talk about it. Um Man, that's kind of all of the questions that I've got. Do you wanna go to this next portion? It seems like you've been really excited about it.
I've been so excited.
Okay.
Not really, I've
So
been nervous.
you've been don't be nervous, you'll be fine. Okay. So this next portion of the show is we, give the guests an opportunity to answer a question from the previous guest and then ask their own question to the next guest. So kind of continuing in a chain of tradition there. So this one's going to be a little bit backwards and funky because we recorded Slay's episode a couple days ago, but your episode is coming out first. So you're going to be answering Slay's question.
Okay.
even though he's coming out after you. So, would you rather never eat your favorite food again or no TV ever again?
No TV. I know that's probably shocking. Is that
Really?
shocking?
That is shocking.
I love food. I'm a foodie. I love food, and I couldn't imagine. Now, granted, I have so many different like favorite foods,
Hmm.
but like I love a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream. And if
Mm.
I couldn't have that, oh, I would be so sad. Like that, I can read a book. I can read
Yeah,
a
but
book.
no, that's true. That's true. I uh, I just I love it. I love the TV show.
You do love TV.
It's a
You love
and I'm a little
TV.
surprised that you so willingly jumped at the food there. I
Really?
it's a well yeah. I just think about like New Girl is like such the comfort show
Sure.
and like other shows too. But the more that you're talking about it, I think it kind of tracks. Like
The
you'd be able to,
experience of eating a warm brownie is, like, so delicious.
yeah, I guess I'm I'm laughing at the picture of Greg Ray in the in the back here.
We have one
Just
of Lola too, you guys.
mhm.
No one to come for me. She's
It's
right
a
there.
she's showing it. Just another reason to watch the video versions um as well.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Okay, well, now you get the opportunity to ask your own question to the next guest, whoever that might be. So go ahead and lay it on me. You said you've been thinking of it.
I've been thinking of it. Okay. What is something that you could give a 30-minute presentation on
Oh,
without any prep? So somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, you have to give a presentation on insert this here." What would it be?
except what topic could you give a 30-minute presentation on without any prep?
Yes.
I love this question. I think it's so fun. It's a, I it it so quickly cuts to like something that somebody's going to be passionate about. You can get a
Mhm.
real glimpse into their soul. So tell me, what is that? What is that to you?
I mean, with no prep, I could give somebody like a presentation about floral preservation, and I could make it 30 minutes for sure. Um, Obviously, that's something I'm passionate about.
Mhm.
Breast milk. I could give
You
a
could.
30-minute
Definitely.
um, presentation on breast milk. I I mean, I would be a lactation consultant in a heartbeat if I didn't have to go back to school to do it. So
Yeah.
that's something I am also really passionate about. That's
This
so funny.
yeah, and what I wanna iterate here is that it's not just because, like, I've seen Tabby, like, with our own kids, like, she legitimately has a really good just sense of all of the systems in place and all of the factors for milk production and whatnot. It's I've seen many a friend coming to her for advice and kind of helping work through some of these things
It is my,
and
like,
questions.
favorite thing to do when a new mom reaches out to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what is happening. How many ounces do I need to freeze my breast milk in to make them lay flat?" Like, "Oh my gosh, she's so fussy today." Like, it's my favorite thing, truly. But yeah,
Yeah,
that is
it's
what
a
I would say.
you that was a really good answer. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm excited to ask that question too because it's
Oh,
it's
you're
such a
so
good one.
welcome.
It gets people worked. Well, love that.
Well, yeah,
Okay. Well, that's kind of all I got for you.
okay.
Um, do you have any closing parting thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, it's the new year, and I just feel like if you have a passion project that you have been thinking about for a while, just do it. Like, I get really nervous to start things because I don't like to fail. So starting this business on Etsy was really, I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And I remember my very first sale, and it was the best feeling ever. And if you have something that you're really passionate about, let's say it's not even Etsy related, let's say you love coffee and like your dream one day is to open up a coffee shop. You don't even have to like start opening up a coffee shop this year, but just start looking into what it would take to
Hmm.
do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Um, Dream big. And yeah, it's been like so fun owning my own business. It's been very hard. My least favorite part about it is taxes. Um,
Boo.
boo.
Boo. Hit us
Um,
Texas. Yeah.
yeah, I was just talking to Bailey today about taxes. So um, yeah, it's the taxes part is not always fun, but you get to do something you're passionate about and talk to people about it instead of just, doing it by your lonesome and like crafting in your free time. Just, yeah, do whatever makes you happy. And
Don't
yeah,
be afraid to strike
don't
out.
be don't be afraid to strike out and don't be afraid to try.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love
my advice.
I love that. Yeah, that's actually like a big piece of why I wanted to do the show is like honoring um that bravery in, you know, going out and doing something that you've kind of imagined, despite it being intimidating. So I like that. It's a great parting thought. Well, that is going to conclude the 25th episode of When I Was Your Age. Big thank you to Tabby for being here in this episode. Love you. See you upstairs.
Love you.
Um, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.
Bye.